everybody. Welcome back for our second week of Eat Smart, Live Strong. How's everybody doing today? Feel free to unmute, speak up. We're pretty informal here. And although the majority of you are online, I have one lady, the lovely Pam, in here with me today. So, but I like to engage with everybody. So, all right, I'm not hearing anything, so I'm assuming you guys are all okay. All right. Let's see. I'm not sure who all, hopefully we have everybody from last week. If we don't, and we have some new people, I know Pam, this is her first time coming. The thing with Eat Smart, Live Strong, as we talked about last week, is that we're pretty informal. People can, even if you miss the first week or the first couple weeks or whatever, people are welcome in any time. So if you have friends or family or anybody who'd like to join in, they are always welcome. Hi, Cynthia. So feel free to put your camera on. It's always nice to see faces if you really don't want to do that. No, hi, Teresa. No pressure. If you don't want to be on camera, that is okay. But it's nice for me to be able to see faces rather than blank boxes. So anyway, all right. Last week, for those of you who are new this week, the program that we're doing is called Eat Smart, Live Strong. And it's a program that focuses on 2 behaviors for good health, right? Anybody who was here last week, can you guys remember what those 2 behaviors are that we were talking about?
Activity and food, and eating vegetables and fruit.
Right. Eating more fruits and vegetables and moving more, right? Those are really important. And the reason we focus on those 2 behaviors is because people who tend to live longer, healthier lives, there's a lot of really good data that shows us that that works. That works really well. And we can't do anything about the fact that we're aging, right? It'd be nice if we could, but we can't. But there are things that we can do to help sort of mitigate some of those effects of aging and help us live longer, healthier, and more comfortable lives too. And over and over and over again, the data says move, whatever that looks like, right? Doesn't necessarily have to mean the gym. And eating more, including more fruits and vegetables. So we're going to continue talking about that today. One of the things, those of you who were here last week, one of the things that I challenged you to do was to think about at baseline how many servings of fruits and vegetables you eat every day. What's sort of typical for you? I wanted you to kind of come up with a number in your head, right? Think about what you eat. Most of us tend to eat the same kind of things every day. And I wanted you to challenge yourself to eat a little bit more than is normal for you. Okay, maybe eating an extra serving of vegetables or having a serving of fruit between meals or something like that. So that was one thing. The second thing I challenged you to do is think about how much physical activity you get every day. So how much time do you spend moving? And we talked about exercise not only just being exercise as far as what we think of as exercise, like purposeful exercise, like walking and things like that. But we also talked about things like housework and gardening and, playing with grandchildren, right? Those are all things that require a lot of energy. And so my challenge to you is to kind of think about what was baseline for you, what your baseline movement is, and challenge yourself to move a little bit more. And the other thing that I talked about was the exercises, right? We give you some exercises each time you come to a session for each time. We're going to go to that, our exercises for this week. But those are some ideas that you could have to move yourself. So what I want to ask you guys right now is, anybody who was here last week, did you do anything different? Did you eat any more fruits and vegetables, or did you move any more? And if you didn't, that's okay, because we're going to talk about that today. Anybody have anything they want to share? Successes or?
I did eat more vegetables.
You did. Excellent, Cynthia. Okay. So you were thinking about eating more vegetables. Where did you sneak the extra vegetables in?
A spinach smoothie.
Oh, wow. Do you normally drink smoothies?
I do a protein
Okay.
in the morning, and that usually has a lot of fruits and vegetables, but I
Excellent.
made a special smoothie with spinach.
Okay, so you just threw some extra in there than you normally would have.
Yeah. Well, it
Excellent.
wasn't protein. It was different. I added spinach, almonds,
Oh, wow.
yogurt.
It's like a whole food
Yeah.
thing. Okay. All right, good. How did that taste?
That was pretty good.
It's pretty
I
good?
didn't put, they said you can add honey if you wanted to, but I
Yeah.
didn't.
Sometimes with the green smoothies, you need a little sweetness to kind of keep them from being too
Sometimes, yeah, I didn't do
veggie
it,
forward.
I mean,
But if you,
it
that's
wasn't
the
enough
bottom
for me
line
for
is,
2 days of drinking,
Okay.
2 cupfuls.
Yeah.
So.
and the bottom line is, yeah, if you like it, then go for it. There's nothing wrong with that. So, okay, excellent. Anybody else want to share anything?
Well, I was trying to use that food log
Yeah,
and exercise log.
right.
So I kind of fell off the wagon with that. But
That's all right.
the main thing is, if it weren't for the fact that there's something going on with my right leg, I would definitely do more walking. And
Okay.
the thing I wanted to know was, and I'm sorry, I know we're talking about food. We're not
Oh, no
talking
worries.
about
We're talking about
exercise.
both, yeah.
Okay. Let's say I walk 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
One time. So is that the same as walking half an hour for 4 days? Or you can't equate the two?
I'm never going to say that any movement is bad, right? Is it the same as getting your 150 minutes per week that's recommended? Exercise is exercise. So I'm not going to say that that's bad. It is. Remember your big goal that we talked about last week is that one of the worst things that you can do is spend too much time being sedentary, right? So if you have a 2-hour walk and then and I don't know what you did the rest of the week, but let's just say for the sake of argument, you did a 2-hour walk and then you did nothing the rest of the week, no exercise, or you didn't do anything. What do you think that's going to be a problem necessarily if that's a habit?
Well, that would definitely be a problem.
Oh, it would be, because you're not moving most of the time, right? So,
Exactly.
So that's probably the best way to answer that question. If you want to walk for 2 hours, that's great. But your overall goal, especially as you're getting older, is to spend as much time off your backside as possible.
Okay.
We talked last week about one of the worst things that you can do as you get older, especially if you're over 60, even over 50, is to spend too much time being sedentary, right? So if you're spending a lot of time just sitting and not moving a whole lot, that's not the best. Okay. But it doesn't mean that you have to spend 2 hours walking every day or going to the gym every day or doing something. It just means, and if you remember we mentioned this last week, being mindful of how much time you spend sitting. And if it's been an hour that you've been sitting doing something, just get up and move a little bit. Right? And it can be as simple as, I've been watching this TV show, or I'm reading my book, or I'm, on my iPad or whatever, and I haven't moved in a while. Maybe I'll get up and I'll, empty out the dishwasher or let the dog out or something. It's just getting up and moving. And those little things, it doesn't seem like it necessarily is going to make a huge difference. Maybe because when we think of exercise, we think of, I'm going to go to the gym, I'm going to run for a mile, I'm going to, walk for 2 hours or whatever. But if you think about over the course of your lifetime as you're aging, any kind of activity that gets you up and just moving and bending your joints and getting your heart pumping a little bit more is all good, right? So tend to think of it that way a little bit more. Things that are as simple as, don't be that guy circling the parking lot in the grocery store looking for that front space to open up, right? Be the person that parks all the way in the back, usually better parking back there anyway, right? And walk up, right? It's not a huge amount of exercise, but it does make a difference over a period of the rest of your life. It makes a difference, okay? Yeah. The whole theme behind the Eat Smart, Live Strong is small changes make a big difference over a period of time, over the period of your life. That's what makes the most difference.
If you can make it a lifestyle.
Make it a lifestyle, right? So you're no longer going to be the one looking for that front spot, you're going to be the one going all the way to the back, right? You're going to be the one that if you got to go to, I don't know, Home Depot for something, you're going to take a lap around the store before you start to shop. It sounds weird, but if it becomes habit, do it, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to say something, Cynthia?
Yeah, I'm getting over COVID. So.
Oh no!
Yeah. So there was a period when I was pretty sedentary because I couldn't get myself out.
Yeah.
And so this week I've actually started to get back to the regular activities. You know, I do Tai Chi twice a week, and I just came back from line dancing.
Oh, fun!
Yeah, I walk, and I do an hour hike with, you know, the Heart Center has like a, you know, walk with at the Heart Center. Yeah. And so I do an hour on Monday and Fridays.
That's awesome.
So you know, I'm pretty good. I have physical therapy every week because I have arthritis in my joints. So
yeah.
Yes, so I feel good about doing it, although it's pretty hot out there. So
it is.
I walk to the Heart Center, I walk back, and I do grocery shopping. I have my backpack, put my groceries in there, and just walk back. Yeah. So I do that on a regular basis. That's kind of like where I'm at. I'm starting to get back into doing that because I couldn't leave the house for 20 days.
Yeah, well, and if you're sick, certainly with COVID. Well, I'm glad you're okay after COVID. We were just talking before the cameras went on about COVID, and you know, I said, you know, one of the things that scares me most about COVID is the whole long COVID thing. But anyway, but yeah, it does debilitate you for a while. But and you know, and actually that kind of brings up what we talked a little bit about last week, was that the older you are, the harder it is to recover from things. You know, when you're young, you can get sick or you can get injured and you recover pretty quickly. When you're older, you don't do that as well. And but you know, and that's just a product of aging. But one of the things that can help your recovery time better is if you're fit going into it, right? Because it benefits your muscles, it benefits your whole cardiovascular system, your heart, your lungs, everything, and your in your muscle tissue. I mean, you know, that's one of the things that you lose as you get older is your muscle tissue, and exercising helps keep that in check. So. Good. Okay. Well, Cynthia, I'm glad to hear you're kind of getting back into it.
Yeah. It feels good, but I notice I'm more tired. Like
you feel more tired. Well, that might be the COVID.
I go sit down, get up and do another.
Yeah. Right. You know. And that's the thing. It's going to take your body some time to get back into it. Again, you don't recover as quickly as you did when you were younger, right? Did you have something that you wanted to say, Renee? Is it Renee? Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought I saw your hand. Okay. Yeah. So that's one of the challenges of getting older is that, you know, it does take longer, but physical activity, one of the things that I said last week is that this is not really a diet program where it's like losing weight or anything. It's more of just sort of a healthy lifestyle program. And a lot of times, you know, those other things kind of come as side effects. Like, you know, weight loss and things like that. But the thing that I mentioned that I really wanted you guys to focus on was how you feel, right, when you're exercising. So let me ask you this. For those of you who were here last week, and, you know, and I mentioned the 2 behaviors, and, you know, maybe you tried some things that weren't normal for you, eating more fruits and vegetables, maybe moving more than usual. How many of you forgot that you were supposed to do something different? Oh yeah, you get to the end of the day, oh, I was supposed to move today and I didn't move. I was supposed to eat more fruit and I didn't do that today. Anybody have any of those moments? It's okay if you did, because that's normal. Do I have a comment on here? Oh, Linda, you didn't receive your packet. Okay, I will follow up with you. Did anybody have any oh my gosh, I forgot at the end of the day? The reason I say that is last week we talked about programming your brain to do a new habit, right? And that's hard to do. I told you that your brain is kind of like a computer and you're sort of set in your ways. That's what habits are. Habits are kind of like a program in a computer that just runs. And we talked about how in the morning, most of us have some kind of a routine. You get up in the morning, you use the bathroom, you go to the kitchen, you make the coffee, you feed the dog, you read the newspaper, right? That's just what you do. Has anybody ever had the experience of where you're driving somewhere that maybe you drive to a lot and you don't remember the drive there, you're just there and you're like, oh, I'm here. That's kind of a common experience. We don't really remember what we did or what we saw, unless it was something out of the ordinary, right? You almost get into an accident, you're going to remember that. But that's habit, right? So if you go somewhere regularly, you're just, oh, I'm here, all right. I don't remember anything, but I got here and I'm in one piece, so all is good. Well, that's because your brain is going, all right, run the program where we drive to this place. You know the road and everything else, and you just do it. Kind of what's happening. And so you don't really necessarily think to do anything differently. You don't necessarily think about things that are happening along the way because you're just doing what's routine and what's program. Okay? And we talked about inserting a new program, right? So we talked about last week, again, we talked about eating more fruits. With that morning program that I just told you about, we talked about, okay, let's insert a new behavior, which is eat a piece of fruit. So instead of that morning program where you get up, you go to the bathroom, you go to the kitchen, you make the coffee, you eat a banana, and then you let the dog out, and then you read the paper. You inserted a new behavior in there that all of a sudden you have to remember, oh yeah, we're doing this now, right? It takes 21 days for your brain to figure out you're doing something different and go, oh, this is new. So it's not unusual that you should have to remind yourself over and over again, oh, that's right, I'm doing this new thing. So I didn't tell you that last week. But what I'm going to tell you this week, and this chart that you can record your behaviors on in the first page, if you look on session 2 and you flip it open to session 2, you're going to see a sheet that says set your goals. And Linda, I will check with Brittany about getting your packet to you. But there's, this is something that's kind of a reminder. I said you could put this on your refrigerator and just to remind yourself, oh yeah, that's right, I got to eat more fruits and vegetables today, or I have to move a little bit more. Okay.
My friend, when I finally got this,
yeah,
friend was here and she just, oh man, this is great.
There's a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
So, but I'm referring to the booklet.
Yeah.
This main.
Chart here, this is really good.
Yeah, that's got a lot of veggies and fruit and portion sizes.
I got this flag with it, which is very nice too.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff in there. So one of the things that really helps you remember, oh yeah, I have to do a new behavior, is writing yourself a note. And I'm not sure if Brittany included it or not, but we had did you guys get Post-it notes?
Yes.
Okay. So it doesn't have to be a Post-it, but it needs to be some kind of a note. This is a good time when you're trying to train yourself to do something new. It's a good idea to write a note to yourself. Okay? And the reason for that is that you're already programmed to get up in the morning, go to the kitchen, make the coffee, feed the dog, read the paper, right? That's just sort of an example that I'm using. Everybody has their own routine in the morning. But what you might want to do in this case is take your Post-it and write yourself a note that says, eat a piece of fruit. So that it reminds you, oh, that's right, this is the part of the morning routine where I'm supposed to do something different. I got to eat a piece of fruit. So I'm going to eat my banana, or I'm going to eat my peach, or whatever I have there. Okay? And seeing that reminder somewhere significant is like, oh yeah, I got to do that. So it's helping your brain do that thing day after day, so that after 21 days-ish, you get to the point where you're just eating a piece of fruit because your brain recognizes, oh, that's what I do now. I don't go straight from coffee to feed the dog. I go from coffee to I need some fruit. Okay? And the same thing with physical activity. I've been teaching this class for more than 5 years, and I had a woman one time who said she actually took her Post-it and she taped it to the doorknob of her apartment so that any time she went to open the door and felt the paper, she's like, oh, did I exercise yet? And it was like her reminder that, oh, I gotta walk. In her case specifically, she lived in an apartment complex that had a common mail room, and she had like 2 ways to go to the mail room. One was really direct because the mail room was near her apartment, so she just walked down the hall. And the other way was like all the way around the whole complex. And so when she touched that paper, she's like, oh, I got to walk all the way around to get my mail. So it was her way of working a little bit more movement. And it sounds really silly, but it worked because every single time she touched that paper, she knew, oh, I got to exercise. Right? So just a thought. So when you're writing reminders to yourself, you need to kind of put them in a place where you're going to see them and you're going to remember them. Okay? If you spend any time at all looking at a screen during your day, you have time to exercise. Whether it's a computer or a television or whatever. I've had a lot of people tell me that they'll stick a note on the TV saying, you know, do your squats. Do it at commercials or whatever. And I'm going to launch into our exercises for the week this week in just a minute. But as we're doing these exercises, one of the things I want you to think about is, when during my day can I do this, right? It's really easy to say, I don't have time to do exercise, because we think of exercise as, oh, I got to go to the gym and I got to spend an hour doing this, and then I got to lift these weights, and I don't want to do any of it, right? But how easy is it to just do something that doesn't take a whole lot of time? So let's launch it, and let me talk about that a little bit more. In Module 2, on the second page, you're going to see exercises. We did 4 exercises last week. If you weren't here, look under Session 1, and you'll see the page of 4, and you can try those. But today, let's start out with these 4 exercises from Session 2. And the first one is really simple. It's just toe raises. So if you want to stand up and do these with me, fine. And if not, and I'll give you guys a seated version in just a second. I'll do the seated version in just a moment. But all you're going to do for this is you're going to hold on to something steady. This can be a countertop, it can be a chair, something that's sturdy. And you're just going to roll up onto your toes. I don't think we really have my toes on the camera here, but that's all right. I don't know, maybe if I move back here a little bit. Okay, there's my feet. Okay, you guys can see my feet now. So you guys can see what I'm doing. I'm just coming up and down. And we're going to do this about, 10 times. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, so you guys feeling it in your calves back here?
Yep.
Yeah. If you have trouble standing, actually I think I'll do this back here so you can see my feet again. You can do something like this seated. It's not going to be as weight bearing, but you can put your foot out and you can point and flex. Okay? Now, for this kind of exercise, when during your day could you do something like this?
Anything.
Washing dishes. Washing dishes. Standing in the line with your grocery cart, right? Brushing your teeth. Waiting for the coffee. All right? A lot of this is looking at what you do in your everyday life and figuring out, when can I fit this in? So from now on, when we do these exercises, I want you to think about, when can I do this? Where does this fit in? Okay? With any of these exercises, what we recommend is 2 sets of about 10, right? So if you're just waiting for your coffee to percolate, you just kind of stand there doing this, probably by the time you're done doing a couple of sets, it's done and you're ready to go. Okay? Does that make sense? I want you to kind of think about that as we go through these exercises. each week. All right, the second one is side leg raises. And it's pretty much just what it sounds like. You can hang on to something for balance, and you're just doing this, right? You can put your hand on your hip if it feels more comfortable. What I don't want you to do is this. Okay, keep your trunk straight so you can feel this in your hip. Okay, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, and 10. And then we'll repeat it on the other side. Now, I'm just repeating what I said last week. If you can't do this, or it's a movement that your doctor, your physical therapist said don't do that, then don't do that. Okay, what they say is more important than what I'm saying up here. 4, 5, you feel that in your hip? 6, 7, when can you do this exercise? 8, what do you guys think?
Watching TV.
Watching TV, sure. 10, right?
Same times that you did the
Yeah.
poses.
And it's something also that you can do seated. It's a little more challenging, right? Here you're just pretty much doing this. If you're seated, you're just kind of spreading your leg a little bit, and you do that on both sides, right? Okay. This is another one that you can do while you're watching TV, okay? Or if you're on the computer. That's another easy one. Okay. This next one, I'm not quite sure how I'm going to do it. I think I'm just going to tell you guys how to do it because I don't really have a good way to do a wall push-up in here. I have screens, but I would knock them over, so I'm not going to do that. A wall push-up, push-ups are obviously working your arm muscles, right? Your biceps. A wall push-up is really just what it sounds like. You're coming up to a wall, you're bracing your hands on it, right? You want your hands to be about the same width as, where your shoulders are. And you're going to push in and then push yourself back, right? This is because you're pushing your own body weight back. The thing about the wall push-up is the farther your feet are away from the wall, the more challenging it's going to be. So if you're not real strong in your arms, just start close to the wall and build up, right? This is easier because you don't have to get yourself on and off the ground, right? The other thing that it does when you're pushing against the wall is it stretches the back of your leg. So when you go in, and if you keep your heels on the ground, you're going to get this really nice stretch on the back of your calf and up the back of your leg, which is really nice. Because remember, we talked about stretching is also really important. So I can see Pam actually doing the push-ups against the wall. She's doing a great job. But we're not going to put her on camera because I promised her she didn't have to be on camera. So, but she's doing that. So be safe when you do that. Don't stand so far back that you're going to have problems. Just feel in your body what is most comfortable for you, and most importantly, if you start feeling your muscles working, then you're doing all right. Cynthia, were you doing some wall push-ups?
Yeah.
How did it go?
It was fine.
It was fine.
I've done them before.
You've done them before. I just really like them because they're exercises that work really well if you don't yet have a lot of upper body strength, and you don't have to get on and off the floor. So they're easier, but they can be challenging depending on how far away you are from the wall.
Yeah, I fell in I had a bone chip.
Oh, okay.
And so that's one of the exercises they had me do.
Oh, okay, to try to rehab that.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay.
I got that further and further, so like,
yeah.
I was on like a chair, I did the
Yeah.
chair thing.
Excellent. These 3 exercises that we've done so far have been primarily strength exercises. And we talked last week about, that you begin losing muscle tissue when you're 50 and it accelerates as you get older. But doing strength training exercises helps you hang on to what you have, right? So those are all strength exercises. The wall push-ups also offer a nice stretch up the back of the leg that we were talking about, so that's the flexibility part. The 4th exercise is abdominal crunches. So, and these you do seated. So if if you're looking in the book, if you sit and have your back straight, have your butt back up against the back of the chair as much as you can. Cross your arms over your chest, and just watch me for a second. You're going to take a breath in, and as you come down, we're going to go down. I want you to tighten up your abdominal muscles as tight as you can. Just really clench them, and as you come out, you're going to breathe out. I want you to think of yourself as a tube of toothpaste, and somebody is squeezing you, and the toothpaste is coming out, but instead it's your breath, right? So we're going to do this. Okay, so let's do about 10 of those. Hold your stomach muscles as tight as you can. Breathe in on the way up, and 4. I think that's 4. 5. 6. 7. Oh, am I blowing into the microphone? Sorry. Okay. 8. I think that's 8. 2 more. 9. 10. Can you feel that in your abdomen a little bit? Yeah. Good. Okay. So one of the things that happens when you get older is that, for a variety of reasons, you're more likely to fall down. Anybody notice that? Maybe not feeling quite as balanced as you used to be?
Right.
So, some people, it's the older you get, the more of a problem it can be. And people over 60 tend to fall down more. And, as I said in the beginning, you're more likely to, it's more difficult for you to recover from an injury. Well, that's true if you have like a fall or a surgery or anything like that. You don't really recover as quickly. So that's one of the reasons why, for older people, falls can be particularly dangerous, right? For injury reasons, if you break something or you tear a tendon or things like that. One of the things about physical activity as you get older is that the more physically active you are, the less likely you are to fall, because it makes your balance better, right? That last exercise that we did, for the core muscles, right? Have you guys heard the term core muscles? Okay, it just means abdomen. So this means all these muscles that are in the center of your body. These are really, really important for balance and keeping yourself on your feet. So exercises that engage the abdomen can really help you stay upright. But really all exercises can. The more muscle tissue you have, the more balanced you're going to be. So it all kind of goes together. And this is one of the reasons why we know that older people who exercise regularly are just healthier, because they're not falling as much and they're not having balance problems as much, and they just feel better. Okay? So I
tripped on the sidewalk.
I'm sorry?
My bone chip came from a fall on the sidewalk.
Oh, you tripped on the sidewalk? Oh, yeah.
flavors were not level.
Okay. Yeah. That's something to. When I walk anymore as I get older, I find myself looking down a lot. Rather than looking up and out, I'm like looking down to see what I'm going to trip over.
Actually, I call the city on it, and the city comes.
You
down.
should, yeah, absolutely, because that's a risk to some folks who fall down. So the physical activity is really important. And what I was going to say is those abdominal exercises, these are done in a chair. So when could you do them during your day?
Watching TV.
Watching TV, that seems to be coming up over and over again, right? If you're sitting in front of if you're in front of a screen, you're probably sitting down. Right? It doesn't mean, so it just means, I got to do 2 sets of abdominal crunches, right? If you were to write yourself a note to remember to do your abdominal crunches, where would be an ideal place to do that?
On the TV.
Stick it on your screen, right? Do your crunches. Because then you're going to be sitting there getting all into, I don't know, whatever. I don't really watch TV, so I don't know what's on TV anymore. But, but you're watching your favorite show or you're streaming something on the tablet, right? Stick your thing on there. It says, do your crunches. And you just have to take 5 minutes to do, and then you're done. Okay? But this is also behavior change because you have to remember to do that. Eventually, you can get to a point where if you do it enough and you remind yourself enough, you're just going to know when you pick up your tablet, oh, that's right, I got to do my crunches. Just like the lady that had the paper on her door. It said, I got to take the long way around the mailbox. You just have to remind yourself, and you have to do it over and over and over again until it becomes part of your routine. Right?
So are we supposed to add these to the other 4 that we got from the first time?
Absolutely, yeah. So like I said last week, by the time we're finished here, we do 4 exercises every week. We're here for 4 weeks. I say we're like I'm more than one person. I'm just me. But I'm going to give you 4 exercises each week. And by the end of the 4 weeks, you'll have 16 exercises. I don't mean that you're going to do 16 exercises every day. That's ridiculous, right? I mean, unless you really want to do 16 exercises. But you're going to find ones that are easier for you to do. It's like, those abdominal ones are really good and fit in with what my lifestyle. I can do that while I'm, watching the news. Or the toe raise exercises. That's something that I can do while I'm waiting for the coffee, right? But you just have to remind yourself to do it. Now, one of the things about routines is that they can get disrupted when things get different. So Cynthia, you just had COVID. So your whole routine was kind of upended by that. And so now you have to kind of go, I got to retrain my brain to do all this stuff again. So just keep in mind that when you develop a healthy habit for yourself, just understand that you may have to go through this process again. I got to get my brain all, ready to go with this again. And just know.
When I walk, now I do these, I don't know what you call these.
The bicep curls. Yeah, the bicep curls. Yeah.
I do that and then I twist.
And you do the spinal. So those are the exercises from last week. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do that while I'm walking.
Absolutely.
So I
yeah.
My leg up,
Right.
I can't really do the back curl as well. I try, but
it's not as easy. And do the things that work for you. If it doesn't work or it hurts, if it hurts, don't do it. I'm never going to tell you to exercise if something hurts. Or your doctor told you not to do something, your physical therapist. But my point is that if you fall off the wagon, right? Some people think, I failed, I can't do this anymore, I'm terrible, an awful person. We tend to, sort of down talk ourselves when we don't do that, because all it means is you just have to get back to where you were, right? So if you have COVID or you go on vacation or you have a period of, stress or whatever that kind of upends your routine, just get back on the horse, right? Because we're not talking about like, I'm on a diet and I need to, fit in a bikini and look cute in 2 weeks. No, that's not what we're talking about. We're talking about the rest of your life. We're talking about what you're going to do day in and day out for the rest of your life. And it's never, I always say, if you wake up in the morning, it's not too late. You can just do it. Okay.
Yeah.
So
before I got COVID, I was on a trip, a transatlantic thing. And every day I got up and did some of the exercises that I just made sure that when I got up, actually put an alarm on. So, okay, it's Tai Chi time. It's on time. And I just, and
Tai Chi is so good for anybody, but Tai Chi and yoga are so good for aging bodies just because it's really gentle, stretches everything, and it's just movement. And it's just really good. I think there's also kind of a meditative sort of thing about it, which I think probably helps your brain out a little bit too, which is good.
I was on a cruise, so you're on a ship, and it's kind of like nonstop eating if you want to. So,
yeah.
I got on a ship and I text my son. I go, oh, now let the binging begin. Begin. But so I try to make sure that like after my meal, I go on the hiking, the walking trail, and do that.
Which is great. Yeah, because so you were developing habits for that short period of time that you were on the cruise. It's like, I'm going to eat, but I'm also going to go for a walk afterwards, and I'm going to do this and that. And and you just kind of have to think about that a little bit. So, okay, so let's talk about, so those are our exercises for the week. So my challenge to you all is going to be the same as last week with the physical activity. Continue trying to move a little bit more. But what I want you to do during the rest, I think we have about 20 minutes left, I want you to think about if you have your Post-it pads near you or you just have a piece of paper or something, pull it out and I want you to think about a goal that you want to do this week, right? And I want you to write it on the paper. So maybe it is do the abdominal crunches. Maybe it's eat a piece of fruit with breakfast. Maybe it's, eat an extra vegetable with dinner. Maybe it's take the park in the back of the parking lot and walk up to the store, right? And I want you to write a note to yourself. You don't have to tell me what it is. And I want you to think about where can I put this note so that I'm going to remember to do this thing this week, okay? So if you're going to park farther out in the back of the parking lot, where might be a good place to put that note? Or maybe in your car somewhere, right?
On your steering wheel before you take it off.
Right, or the dashboard or something, so you can go, oh, that's right, I'm not going to circle the front, I'm going to go to the back, right? If it's going to be do your abdominal crunches, put that note on the remote control or on the TV or on your screen or somewhere you're going to see it. If you're going to do toe raises while you're brushing your teeth, stick it on the mirror in the bathroom. Okay, because in order to work and to train your brain, you have to remember to do it over and over again. And we're not talking about, well, let me get into this. Let's talk about goals in general. Goals and habits. We have the goal to make good, healthy habits. Let's talk about something that it's a system of making goals, and it's called SMART. It's an acronym, S-M-A-R-T, just the word SMART. And I want you to, let's talk about what each one of those words means, because I want you to think about this acronym when you're trying to build healthy habits for yourself, okay? So the letter S in the word SMART means specific. What specifically do you want to do, okay? So if we think about, last week we talked about things like, diets don't really work all that well, and that's because, a lot of times, our goals are kind of vague, right? So with the Eat Smart, Live Strong program, a specific goal might be, I want to strengthen my stomach muscles so I don't fall down, or so that I'm better balanced, right? And what am I going to do for that? So be very specific about what it is you want to do. I want to eat more fruits and vegetables, right? Yeah, Cynthia?
I was thinking like my walk, when I walk to the art center.
Yeah.
Just to help train my brain to do something different.
Mm-hmm.
I could just like walk back a different route.
Yeah.
To get, it might be the same amount of steps and stuff like that, but just so that I train my brain to accept different things or not just go autopilot everywhere I go.
Right. Yeah.
Is that a specific enough a goal, or because
Sure.
it has nothing to do with your fruits and vegetables and the exercise we have. It's just kind of training the brain to accept new
Make you see things differently, right? That autopilot where you drive the car and you don't remember the ride and you get there. So, yeah, okay. The second one is measurable, right? So the M in SMART just means measurable. Is my goal measurable, right? So in this case, it might be something as simple as, did I do my abdominal exercises today? Yes or no? That's measurable. Did I do it? Yeah, I did it or I didn't do it, right? We could also look at that as, do I feel like I'm stronger? You know, that's something with the exercise. Do I feel like I'm more balanced? Do I feel like my core muscles are stronger and I'm moving better? Do I feel like my arthritis is not bothering me as much because I'm moving? You know, I'm doing stretching exercises, I'm walking. If you're somebody who has problems with joint pain, does that feel better? You know, focus on that kind of stuff, right? The A in the word SMART is achievable. Is it achievable for you, right? If you tell me, so Pam, if you told me right now, I'm going to run a marathon next week, what would you tell me?
No.
Pam says, no, I am not going to run a marathon next week.
But I will walk 30 minutes a day.
Right. Yeah.
Unfortunately, the only reason I'm running is that someone's chasing me.
Right. I'm being chased by a mountain lion. I will run quite well. I'm going to hurt like crazy afterwards, but you know, I'll run. So is it achievable? Is it something that you can actually do, right? And that kind of goes hand in hand with the R in the word SMART, is realistic. Is that realistic, right? Is it realistic that I'm going to do a triathlon at some point? No, I don't want to do a triathlon. That's not what I'm about. So, you know, if you set a goal for yourself, you have to make sure that it's something that you're actually going to do and is okay for you. So it may not be reasonable to run a marathon, but it may be reasonable for you to walk a mile or two every day. You know what? I can do that. I'm not running 26 miles, but I can do, you know, I can walk a mile or two. That's no problem, right? So you have to look at that. And that actually may change too. You know, over the years that I've been doing this program, I have talked to a lot of people who have told me, you know, I had a goal of doing this or that, but boy, I feel good and I want to do more now. So, you know, I was walking a mile, but now I can do 2 and I feel pretty good. You know, your body is going to guide you. Do you feel okay when you're doing these things? And, you know, if you're feeling stronger and you're feeling better. Remember, one of the things I said last week was that when you start one healthy habit, you are much more likely to want to start another one. Right? It may take time, but if you walk and you're feeling pretty good, you might say, you know what? I think I am going to have some fruit for my snack instead of, ice cream, right? I feel like I want to do that now, you know, and it's just, it amazes me how much the barriers are lowered for healthy behaviors if you just start one, right?
Tasty.
What was that?
Ice cream is so tasty.
Ice cream, well, yeah, I didn't say don't eat ice cream, but, you know, maybe don't eat it every day. But, you know, we're coming into like really good fruit season too. I just bought a bunch of nectarines yesterday and I'm like really excited about that. So, because they smell really good. So, so don't be surprised if you do that. Focus on how you feel. How you feel is really going to be the gauge. Getting older does not necessarily have to mean feeling bad or sore or tired or sluggish or any of those things. But it just doesn't come as automatically as it did when we were younger, when your body is younger. When your body's older, you got to work at it a little bit more. Kaiser had a billboard a couple of years ago that I loved. I thought it was great. And it had a picture of an elderly woman in a bathing suit, and she was getting ready to jump into like a lake. She had like a swim cap on and everything. And it said on the bottom, it said, if you rest, you rust. And it's true. I mean, the thing is that, I didn't say don't lay down and relax because that's important. But if you spend too much time resting and being sedentary and you're older, your body's going to go, you know what, we can't really do this anymore. Or you're going to get to the point where you can't move as well, or it's going to hurt more, or it's, So I always have that in the back of my head. If you rest, you rust. I'm like, yeah, absolutely right. So think about that. So I see that billboard in my head. I was like, oh, that was such a good campaign for that. So, okay. So that's the R. Is it realistic for you, right? And then the last one is time bound, right? So, so maybe what you're going to do if you're trying to develop a healthy habit is to give yourself a month. If you keep forgetting to eat your fruit and you write your note and you're still you have to figure out how to make it happen day after day after day. Okay. So, so just think, after an end of the month, I want to have this habit. I want to be the person who is walking from the back of the parking lot, or I want to be the person that's taking the long way to the mailbox, or eating my piece of fruit with my coffee in the morning, or whatever it is. Just focus on one thing. It's not like a diet where it's like, okay, you got to change all this stuff about yourself. You need to eat completely differently, and you got to do this whole routine that's not normal for you. That just sets you up for failure. But if you can put all of your focus on one habit, just one thing, pick one thing, and focus on that and make that happen, then you can look at everything else. Because remember, you have the rest of your life for this, right? It's not, in a month I got to fit into a size 2 bikini. No, it's, in a month I want to eat more fruits and vegetables, and that's my whole goal, and that's what I'm about. Okay, does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, so that's why we refer to these as SMART goals, because they're tailored to you personally and they're geared to things that you are actually going to do. And I can't tell you what you're going to do because everybody's different. You have to figure that out, which is why I wanted you to write down a goal for yourself. Okay, has everybody written down a goal? Kind of have an idea what you want to try this week? And again, does anybody want to share? You don't have to if you don't want to, but does anybody want to share what they're going to try to do this week? Pam, do you want to share?
Yes.
Oh.
I am going to try my best to exercise every day.
Okay, so you're going to try your best. Okay, so Pam is going to try to do exercise every day. Where do you think you're going to put that note? If you had to, what place in your life do you feel like it would be the best place for you to put that so you remember, oh yeah, I got to exercise?
On the television.
On the television. Okay, that's always a good one. If you have a screen, that's always a good place to put it because it's like, oh, I got to move, right? And Pam, you could be even more specific by saying what kind of exercise you want to do. So maybe it could be, I want to exercise every day this week, but maybe in your case, it could be, I'm going to pick one of these exercises to do every day, or I'm going to go out and I'm going to walk for 10, 15 minutes or however long you want to do that. Whatever fits into your life. So try to be real specific with what you pick because the more specific you are, the more you're going to go, okay, I'm going to focus on that behavior. Rather than if you say I'm going to exercise, it's like, oh, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? What am I going to do? If you make it really specific, a specific behavior, you'll go, oh, that's the one thing that I have to do today.
Biceps and crunches.
Sure.
Watching TV.
There you go. Biceps and crunches watching TV. That's a real specific goal, right? And it's a good place to start. Yeah, okay, good. So try to make it as specific as possible because you're focusing on a behavior. All right. Anybody have any questions about that? Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Yeah? Okay. So on in session 2, there's a page, it's called My Commitment. Sounds like you're getting married or something. My commitment to myself. My commitment, it's just, it has, again, it's in the session 2 section at the top of the page. It says My Commitment. And then it has fruits and vegetables and physical activity on there. These are just some suggestions for specific things that that maybe you can try this week. With, there's fruits and vegetable goals, and then there's physical activity goals. For fruits and vegetables, we're going to talk more about this next week, but there are barriers to getting enough fruits and vegetables, right? What are, I mean, some of the barriers, what do you guys think barriers might be for eating enough fruits and vegetables?
I have a question though.
Yeah.
It says here, buy fruits and vegetables that don't require cutting or chopping.
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that? Like,
Yeah.
you know, like,
These are barriers, right? If you're somebody who has crippling arthritis, or you have or somebody who just can't stand for very long, right? That can be a serious barrier. If you have somebody who doesn't have adequate transportation to get to or from the store, what's the biggest one right now? Money is huge. Everything's expensive. Oh my gosh. I went to buy coffee today. I almost had a heart attack right in the aisle. I'm like, ooh, do I really need coffee? I don't know. I think maybe I don't need coffee. I told my husband he was going to have to start drinking like U-Ban or something because he likes the fancy coffees. And I was like, I don't know, honey. I think we're looking at Folgers Crystals or something.
Maybe it's a habit that you need to break.
What was that?
Maybe it's a habit you need to break.
Oh, the coffee, yeah.
No, I mean,
water is a better habit. Water is a much better habit.
I always buy a Starbucks chai latte, and I have a specific way of doing it. And it just raised the prices on it. It's like, geez.
Oh, I know, it's crazy. But, you know, fruits and vegetables can be really pricey. I mean, even before, you know, all this inflation that we're dealing with. But we're going to talk about that next week, how to save money and still eat well, because that's a big barrier for a lot, especially if you're on a fixed income. It can be really difficult to afford fruits and vegetables. So it's easy for me to sit here and say, oh, eat more fruits and vegetables. But if you can't, you can't. So we're going to talk a lot about.
If you buy them seasonally, won't they be cheaper? You buy them.
Yeah,
in season?
yeah. And we're going to talk about that all next week. We're going to talk about that. I'm also going to do a cooking demonstration. So if you're here in person, you get to eat. So, and if you're not here in person, you have to watch us eat. So,
virtual eating.
But I'll have recipes for everything.
But then, why would you want to buy fruit and vegetables that don't require cutting or chopping? Because you have arthritis?
Yeah. So the suggestions that are on this My Commitment page, these are just some. This is some problem solving for things that might be barriers, right? So, and again, we're going to get more into this next week, but shop with a friend or neighbor. So if you don't have a car or you can't drive or something like that, sometimes carpooling is a good way to go about doing that. We're going to talk about different forms of fruits and vegetables, you know, canned, fresh, frozen, things like that. And we're going to talk a lot about that next week. Community van service. Talk with my healthcare provider. Sometimes if you talk, or even here at ACC, you know, they're a community center. Sometimes if you check in, there might be resources that you didn't know about. You know, maybe there is something that can help you get groceries, or, you know, so it's always worth checking with your community and checking with your healthcare provider, because so many times in these workshops that I've done, I've had, you know, obviously most of the time I've done them in person till COVID, but I would have like a group of people and somebody would say, oh, did you know about this? And then they would just share information. So it wasn't anything I necessarily was sharing, but it was, you know, it's kind of the sharing of information. Oh, did you know there's this shuttle, or did you know that there's this or that? So talking to your healthcare provider or community can help with that. Buying canned or frozen vegetables, fruits and vegetables, we'll talk more about that next week. Be sure each meal has at least one fruit or vegetable. You know, that might be a goal right there. Like, oh, you know, I normally just kind of eat a sandwich for lunch or a soup or something, and I don't really eat anything with that. That behavior might be, oh, well, maybe I'll just start adding something to that. What fruit or vegetable can I add? And again, that's changing your behaviors. Dental problems are also a really big deal as you get older. You know, if you have dentures or you have oral pain or your teeth pain, things like that, that can be a real barrier for some folks who have those dental issues. And so discussing with your dental provider or your health care provider might be helpful with that. Maybe you have to change the texture of what you're eating. So, you know, maybe it is easier for you to eat a canned fruit or vegetable. One thing that I'll tell you, and we'll talk more about that this next week, because a lot of people think, oh, canned fruits and vegetables are terrible, you should never eat them. But the thing that we know about that is that you're better off eating canned fruits and vegetables than not eating fruits and vegetables at all. Talk more about that next week. So just start thinking, you okay? I don't know who's coughing, but okay. Just kind of look at this to kind of get some ideas, and we'll get more into it next week. Physical activity. I mean, we've already kind of talked about some of these things. Park the car farther from the store or office. Dance around the house, okay? If you can do that without falling down or injuring yourself, then that's a great one, right? With exercise, we're not trying to injure you or cause you pain or anything like that. The thing with, it's just like with the SMART goal. Is it something that you're going to do? So if I tell you, oh, you need to dance for exercise, well, if you hate dancing, you're not going to do it. So I'm not going to tell you to do that. You have to, these are just giving you ideas. Invest in a good pair of supportive shoes. That's really important. So make sure that when you're exercising, your feet are really well supported and you feel good. That's important. Talk to your healthcare provider. If you're somebody who does not exercise and you're pretty sedentary, it's a really good idea to talk to your physician before you do anything, just to make sure that you're not doing anything that might be harmful. I mean, most doctors, you talk to them and they say you want to exercise more, they're like, great, do it, But just make sure that your doctor is on board and just knows what you're doing. Call the community center. Of course, here at ACC, they've got bazillions of programs that you can, they have a lot of really good stuff here. So check that out if you haven't already, physical activity programs and things like that. If you turn the page from My Commitment, you're going to see something called a SMART card. This is something that you can use if you want. It's there if you want to use it. You don't have to use it. It's just something, I'll just read from it. It says, show this card to your healthcare provider during your next visit. It just has questions if you can, ask your physician about that. So, how would I benefit from eating fruits and vegetables each day? If you have a particular condition such as diabetes, they might say, well, go easy on the fruit and, don't eat a bunch at one time, just maybe eat one piece at a time or whatever. It's always a good idea. It helps your doctor give you better service if you let them know what you're doing. I'm exercising more. I'm trying to eat more fruits and vegetables. It's just kind of a conversation starter. This is something that you can use, not use. It's just there for it's just there as a tool in case you want to use it. Okay? All right. And then, let's see, there's a participant feedback sheet. You can feel free to fill this out if you want to. I don't know if Brittany wants this sent in or whatever. Or you can give it to me. I don't know. We can follow up with Brittany on that one. And then the last page is just reach your nutrition goals. So it just has kind of what we've been talking about. Start with SMART changes. Take it one day at a time. Just because you forgot to do your goal, you didn't eat your fruit yesterday, it doesn't mean that you're bad or you can't come here anymore. It just means, oh, well, I just got to do better the next day, right? A lot of it, it's easy to beat yourself up when you're trying something new and then you forgot to do it. It's like, oh, I'm not worthy. No, that's not true. You just have to get back on the horse, right? Okay. All right. So does everybody has a goal, hopefully written for this week. I'm going to go over here and read. Oh, Evelyn. You've got a goal of lifting weights. Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Good. This is really good. Okay. So what I'm going to do next week is I'm going to ask you all how it went, right? I'm going to say, all right, well, last week you had those papers and you wrote them down. How did it go? And I'm going to ask, and you can share or not share, that's okay. And like I said last week, if you didn't do it or you forgot, You're not bad or horrible, and doesn't mean you can't come here anymore. It just means my big job right here is I'm your cheerleader. So I'm kind of like, go team. I want you guys to succeed. So so if you didn't succeed, that's fine. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about how we can make that better, how we can get you to eat that banana, or remember to walk, or do your weights, or do your abdominal exercises in front of the TV, or whatever. What went wrong? That's a big part of trying to figure out what does work, is to figure out what didn't work and how to fix it. Okay?
7, 8, 9, 10.
Uh-oh. Anybody have any questions or anything before we end?
Yes, hi Julia, this is Elaine.
Yeah, hi.
Hi, I have do you have a direct number or a contact? Can we email you if we have questions or?
So what I would do is just call the agency, and they can patch you through to my voicemail, and I can get you that way. If you go, well, I don't know, does ACC, Sean, does ACC have the information for the agency? Is there a way we could send that out?
Yes. You can send it to me, then I can send it out.
Okay. You can email it to everybody?
Yeah, email it.
Okay, let's do that. Sean is my tech support over here. I will give him information, and actually I can give him my email address, and then he can just send it out to you guys, and you can send me questions if you have them. How does that sound?
Sounds good, thank you.
All right, excellent. And let's see, and I know we have one person who still needs the materials. So I will talk to Brittany, and we will get that out to you. Did everybody else get a book and get your materials? Is there anybody who did not get your materials? Okay. All right. So we will take care of that by next week. So, okay, good. Any other questions from anyone? No? All right. So y'all have your homework. And we'll talk about it next week, okay? All right. Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.